have spent countless hours and even days going through interviews, and now you have a job offer in hand. But before you say yes to the new job and the salary, take a moment and prepare for this phase of negotiation. In this video, I'll explain why and how to negotiate your salary. Because in my career, I've had dozens of offers and I have been able to negotiate my way to multiple six-figure salaries. So let's get right into it. And the first thing I want to talk about is why you should even bother negotiating. One obvious reason is maybe you end up with more money. But the bigger reason is if you go unprepared and just take up a job offer, whatever salary they're paying you, you're happy with it, you start working, but 3 months down the line, you realize that you are underpaid. Now it's too late to negotiate, and it's going to be really hard for you to come up with the utmost energy and motivation to do this job. This can in turn affect your future jobs and your entire career. But on the other hand, if you had prepared and you negotiated and were happy with the job offer that you got, you were confident, you would be able to bring in the energy, and it's going to be a win-win situation for both parties involved, the company you're working for and for yourself. So it's extremely important that you prepare, and then if you need to, put your best foot forward during these negotiation conversations. To make this process easy, I have come up with a framework, the 3 P's of negotiation: prepare, present, and pick. So the number 1 step here is to prepare. Know your market value. Data is your best friend when you want to understand your market value. And for that, the most direct data you're going to get is to get multiple offers. Once you have more than 3 to 4 offers to compare, you will understand exactly where your market value and your skill value lies right now. Along with your own, you can also find salary data of other people. Some good sources of updated and reliable information can be Levels.fyi and Blind. Blind, maybe not so reliable, but still go look over there because people are very open and they'll share their numbers transparently. If you're working currently, you could also go ask your coworkers. I know it can be considered bad manners to ask people how much money they make, but I genuinely believe that we need to be more mature about financial discussions in our life and be open and transparent about it. One good reason to be transparent about your own paycheck with your colleagues is that many managers and directors in companies have access to payroll data. They use this data to their advantage when they want to negotiate for themselves. Then why should individual contributors not have this access? The best way to do it right now is unfortunately to talk to each other. Another point to understand over here is that traditionally, this model of not knowing what your colleagues or peers make was created by companies that wanted to pay employees as little as possible, and that was them playing it to their advantage. Again, I feel like we can grow up now and create this environment of trust and transparency where peers are allowed to know how much everyone else makes. Especially if you are a woman of color, you are going to need this information. It's not going to surprise you, even in the best tech companies, that your male colleagues would be making more than you are. So once you have this information, you have a case to make for yourself. Now that you're laced with data and all the information and you're prepared, we come to the next step: present. Learn the art of negotiations. When you want to negotiate with somebody, it's not supposed to be hostile. Negotiations mean empathizing with the party that you're working with. So in this case, think about the hiring manager or the recruiter. Because they've given you an offer, that means their intention is to hire you, and that it's in their best interest to fill this role successfully. So in this case, if you think that you might want to ask for more money, sell yourself. You can share value propositions. For example, you can mention to them that I've been a liaison between my team members, and not just did I do a lot of coding, but I was also the bridge that communicated between different team members and even outside teams, and I saved countless hours for the entire team by fulfilling this extra role. I was the reason my team was more productive, and that's why a little bit of a bump, a $20,000, $30,000 bump on my $300,000 salary should be a good value to you as a company. For getting a deeper understanding of negotiating, and especially this stage, please do read the book, Never Split the Difference. It is an incredible book about negotiations and really understanding the psychology that people go through. It teaches you how to control your emotions, how to be level-headed, and how to present yourself as the more valuable entity that the company won't even feel giving you that little bump is going to be any dent in their system. In fact, they'll think that they're getting a really good deal by hiring you. Another point to remember in this stage is that your hiring managers don't care too much about your salary, especially in bigger tech companies. They have already spent a lot of time finding you, having you talk to the recruiters, having you interview with their team. So again, they want you on the team and their intention is to hire you. So you won't damage your reputation by asking for more. And overall, you should be working with the hiring manager and the recruiter as a team. Do not have me versus them attitude. This is a project. Think of it as a project, and you are a team member already, and have lots of respect and empathy for the people that you're talking to. Another thing that might surprise you is that many big tech companies are already working with a large range. And for a senior role, that range could be anywhere from $20,000 to $100,000 worth of room on negotiations. So if you ask for any number in between, they'll be happy to provide and move on with this hire. This conversation is going to be uncomfortable, but for 30 minutes of discomfort, if you are able to make a few $1,000s extra, I think it's totally worth it. And it's a very important skill to learn anyway. My last step is pick, but don't give them the number. After researching a lot about this topic, watching countless videos, talking to my peers, and reading the book, Never Split the Difference, I learned one thing, that you shouldn't be the one telling them the number first. Let the company come to you with the final number and then take the conversation from there. This is because they are the more powerful entity here and they are working with a range. With some exceptions, companies would usually give you the low or the mid-range of that number. And if you reveal your number first, there will be little to no wiggle room. They will give you exactly that number, not more, not less, assuming it's within reason. And when they give you a range, you can keep a neutral tone and take a level-headed stance. All you can say is a very neutral statement that, oh, that's interesting. You're not showing any emotion. Oh my gosh, this is my dream number. I got this. This is it. Or you don't want to show them too much disappointment. No thanks. That's not, oh my gosh, that's too low. Keep a neutral tone. You can use neutral statements like, that's a good start, or let me get back to you. I think we have something to work with. And once you know their range, you are going to use the data that you collected and then pitch the number that you desire. It's the best idea to use email to communicate that number. That way you're not extra stressed or nervous. But if it does happen to be in a phone call, just keep your calm and share honestly what you think you're worth. If the company is not very flexible on monetary negotiations, you can also use other factors to negotiate. For example, for one of my jobs, I could not negotiate the salary anymore. And then I asked them about their vacation policy. It was something like 10 days a year, and that wasn't going to work for me. So I asked my manager if the vacation policy could be more flexible. I already knew that person, so they're like, it's us, we're going to manage and we're going to work towards a flexible vacation schedule. But in a case like this, I would definitely caution you to get that in writing. At least have the person email you or something, because later down the road, they might change their mind and they might ask you for not taking days off or something like that. And you don't want that to be at your disadvantage, because you ended up with a lower paying job thinking that you'd be able to take more vacation, for example, but you end up getting nothing. So definitely protect yourself and keep that in writing. Now that you're familiar with my 3P framework, go ahead and be confident and negotiate. Here are some additional tips that are going to help you. When you're negotiating, it helps a lot to have multiple offers at the same time. For that orchestration to work, you might have to ask some recruiters or hiring managers to wait, or have other companies kind of speed up your offer. But in this process, be very transparent and respectful. Let them know that you are interviewing at multiple places and that you need an answer really soon, or you need to take more time because you have to finish certain interviews. If you end up getting 5 offers, you obviously have to say no to 4 companies. So again, be respectful. Let them know as soon as you know that this company is not going to work out for you. Send them an email that at this time you don't think that it's a good fit. That gives them as much time as possible to continue their search and fill the headcount that they needed to. Another important point to remember is that usually companies never reject offers because you were negotiating. In rare cases, offers are only rejected if someone gets bad feeling, if you're rude to them or you're disrespectful and the team thinks that you won't be a good fit culture-wise, because once they've given you the offer, they know that you're technically good, you have the knowledge and you have the capability to do this job well. So it won't be negotiations that can get your offer cancelled or rescinded. Remember that negotiations are typical and they are expected. If you're a female or a minority, do ask your manager if you are being paid fairly. I think this is a very important discussion that we should be having freely. If the company is not able to give you a good answer, or they're kind of like looking around in corners, maybe they're not a good fit for you, and that's when having multiple offers will come in handy, because they should be mature enough to have this conversation with you, and they should be able to assure you that such biases are not going to affect your day-to-day work at their company. My last and the most important point is to know that the negotiations might not work at all. And you have to have that expectation at the back of your mind. So then you choose the job based on the quality of the work that you're going to be doing. And if you don't think you're going to be happy because you really wanted that extra money and they're kind of underpaying you, it doesn't seem like that's a good fit for you, especially if you have other options. And here's some bonus. There are certain things that are negotiable and certain non-negotiable. So I'm going to list some non-monetary negotiable benefits. So you could maybe ask for more of about 2 or 3 of them. Don't get greedy. Don't try to negotiate on every single thing. This is going to be a very nerve-wracking and exhausting conversation. So choose what you want very wisely and only ask for things that are very important to you. Salary is a common negotiation point. Paid time off is also pretty common. Remote work is common to negotiate these days, especially after the previous 2 years. You could negotiate relocation bonus, commute bonus, sign-on bonus, education bonus, some flex days, transportation bonus, or stocks as bonus. There are certain things that are not negotiable. For example, health benefits, 401k plans, dental, vision, anything that they're giving you as an insurance might not be very negotiable. The most important point that I want you to take away from this video is to also understand what is important to you and what does this money mean to you. Understand concepts of financial independence, because you don't want to be the person who just wants that more and be very greedy about your paycheck either. When you know what is the salary that is going to get you closer to your financial independence or retirement goals, you'll be able to make better decisions and be more level-headed with these negotiations. You'll also pick a job that is better suited to your lifestyle. Ultimately, money is just a tool to get you a life that has choices and options. What are those choices? What are the options that are important to you? So think about this before even picking a job or coming up with the dream number that you want. If any of these tips helped you, please share them in the comments below. If you want to collect some market data about engineering salaries, I recently made a video about how much Apple software engineers make, and so go watch that video so you'll already get some data for your negotiations. Thank you so much for watching till the end, and I'll see you very soon in the next one. Till then, stay happy and healthy. Bye.